Motivated lah, Season 3.
Season 3, y'all. Welcome back to Season 3, Episode 2.
Oh my god, man. I mean, I wanted to ask you how are you, but I think I'm just not gonna ask you that.
I'm hyped, girl. I'm hyped. Man.
Oh, and there goes the redneck at the very start of the show. By the way, Ashraf, do you know today is actually a very special episode of A Motivated lah?
Why?
Because we have our first guest here on A Motivated lah. What? Do the dance. Whoa. Your hips don't lie, man. Whoa.
Oops. Got to maintain the class.
Oh,
back
wow. Our guest today is associated with Taj Mahal. Do you know what Taj Mahal is?
Taj Mahal, a symbol of love, which is in
Right.
India. Yes.
Okay. Do you know what is the symbol of love here in Malaysia?
Bukit Bintang, I don't know.
Why do you have to go there? I mean, whatever that's in your business. That's
Because
your
all the
business,
shawarma is there. I love shawarma, so for me, that's the symbol of love for me.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, that is a symbol of love. But there's also another symbol of love here in Malaysia. And that is actually going to be our next guest. So, in Malaysia, the symbol of love here, instead of Taj Mahal, is actually digital content creator Raj Mahal. Let's welcome Raj. So, Raj, how does it feel like to be the first guest on Air Motivated lah?
I feel honored that you guys thought of me first. It's good to be here.
Aw.
Thanks for having me, guys.
I mean,
Yes.
I guess you're like the only one person that's free this weekend lah, so don't flatter yourself too much.
I didn't
Just
want to
kidding.
bring it up. You know, I know nobody wanted to come on your show, and you guys had to call me, so it's okay. I'm here to support my friends.
Yes.
I mean, we was just mentioning that you are like the embodiment of love in Malaysia
Yes.
because it's Taj Mahal is in India, right? That's embodiment of love there. But Malaysia is you, so we thank you so much for
It's
coming along here and sharing your thoughts.
You're most welcome. Thanks for having me.
So today we're going to be talking about body positivity. The reason why we actually invited Raj in was because, you know, he's actually going through like workout regime, and you know, sometimes it's very difficult to just stay disciplined and motivated, which is the essence of the show itself. So Raj, I'd just like to start like what really made you started this workout and, you know, getting a coach and bettering your life.
This decision to start this workout program was born out of severe frustration and anger at myself. Okay? Because there's many times throughout my life, and a lot of us can relate to this, that we have been through this yo-yo phase of wanting to be in the best shapes of our lives. We started for 2 days, and then the third day we're back to eating Oreo, dipping it in milk, and then we forget about it for a few months, and then that happens over and over again. So that was the experience that I went through. And this time around, I think having a chat with Riz, who's my trainer, everything sort of clicked into place, and I noticed that throughout the last 25 years of my life, the reason that I worked out, the reason that I wanted to train, was not something that was congruent with myself, meaning I wasn't doing it for the right reasons. Therefore, it was very easy for me to burn out and stop working out. But this time, we have cracked the code. We have found the exact reason that drives me to work out, which is why this time it's the progress has been spectacular. You know, it has been parabolic growth in terms of my fitness. It has only been 5 weeks since I started training with him, but the improvement is vast, and the intention, the desire to have a healthier life is much stronger at this point compared to all the other phases I've been through. And I'll be honest with you guys, I failed at least 9-10 times in my fitness journey so far.
Right.
So it's different this time.
Right.
Yeah, right. So basically, okay, body positivity, like from my point of view, is like, you know how some people say no matter how I look like, I still love my body and all that. but that only like applies to like if your body, if you love your body, you'll keep it healthy lah. Like
Right.
so your target, like, because you are going like full healthy, I've seen your meals and all that. So is your target to like get that Chris Hemsworth body, or just or just like or like all you want to do is like get healthy, get in shape, good stamina and all that? What's your goal lah? What's your goal in this, your fitness journey?
So you're trying to say I don't have the Chris Hemsworth body now, is it?
Now
Aduh, Ashraf kena kantoi.
I'm just messing
I'm
with
not gonna lie, mate, but yes, you don't.
I'm still at the fat Thor stage, you know. I'm going to get to the Thor stage.
If you're fat Thor, I'm like fat Hulk or something like that.
So, my goal
Right.
is twofold, right? I do have an aesthetic goal, which is to get 15% body fat.
Okay.
And I do have a wellness goal where I want every workout session to make me feel good and refreshed after I'm done with it. Right?
Right.
So I have two goals in that aspect, because in the past, my goal was to get that six-pack, shredded body, big biceps. You know, you can put a can of spinach in between your arm and you flex,
then
it
pump,
explodes.
yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
That was the goal, and I was very, very frustrated because every time I worked out and I looked in the mirror, that wasn't who I was. So you are working out non-stop, and you know, to get that kind of body, you got to put in at least a year of training. At the very least, you got to put in a year of dedicated training. So I was working out, looking in the mirror, seeing nothing. It is very easy to get burnt out because you're not seeing the results. Now, when I shifted my goals, and I knew that my long-term goal was to get 15% body fat, because it's going to help me move better, it's going to help me navigate life better, I feel comfortable in my own body. But I also achieved the goal of every time I go out to do my 10,000 steps, or every time I do my half an hour strength training workout, right afterwards I feel strong, I feel powerful, I feel motivated, I feel re-energized to come back to work. So I hit my goal immediately instead of delaying it to 1 year later. So these are my two goals, and one goal is immediately achievable after the workout. The other one is a long-term goal which I would like to achieve over time.
Right. So like you were mentioning earlier, you felt very frustrated and angry at yourselves, right? Like towards that whole getting the Chris Hemsworth body and all, right? Why the frustration? What was going on at that time that really made you like, you know what? I think I'm doing something wrong here, and now you're in the right path towards, you know, happiness in terms of working out. So what was the thing that actually made you snap and thought that something was actually different this time?
It was the realization that what I was thinking, what I was feeling, and what I was saying was not aligned when it came to my fitness, right?
Okay.
So in my mind, I was thinking, okay, I want to get this six-pack body because I want to look like a jock and impress all the girls in Batas, right? That was the thing that was going through my mind.
Those were the days when Batas, oh my
Is
god.
this a plug for Batas? It's damn very
Shout out
specific,
Batas.
very specific.
You guys want to sponsor? Please hit up my manager. Right? So that was what I was thinking. Now, what I was saying was like, hey guys, you know, I'm working out 5 times. So I was saying, we don't talk about doing it. We're saying, you know, I'm going to work out 5 times a week, and I'm going to do intermittent fasting. I'm going to have 1,750 calories a day, protein, macro, all that rubbish, right?
Right.
That was what I was saying. And what I was doing was sitting down in my chaddis in front of the TV eating contours, right? That was what I was doing. So, and then deep inside me, you know, my unconscious mind, there was this huge dissonance and frustration because I know what I wanted to do, but I wasn't doing it.
Right.
And here I was telling the whole world that, oh, you know, I'm going to be strong, I'm going to be this, I'm going to lift Mount Olympus and all that rubbish. But it was a huge disconnect between all these three elements. So you do it for a week, you do it for 2 weeks, and then you stop because there's no alignment within you. And it's different now because I finally come to the realization of what exactly it is I want with my fitness and health journey. There's complete alignment within me. All the parts are integrated. which is why things move very smoothly
Right.
this time around.
It's like you've already achieved, the nirvana workout, Like
Macam
you're
tu.
right there, Zen.
Yeah.
But like just now, like I said, the body standards that people are looking at right now. So there's actually a dilemma, like should we really go towards
Yeah.
that body standards or health like that? But then there are people who are like, at that stage, way before like your previous stage, the frustration stage, where they
Or
just
what
like
is called
say
the bar atas stage. Right.
but they want to just get bar atas chicks. So the point is, a lot of people are still at that point. They are in denial that I love my body, but actually, like most of them are just like feeding themselves shit and just just getting unhealthier and unhealthier day by day. But the thing is, like, how do we like focus on your stage one now, like getting into the healthy meal, eating healthy, and then like body strength, the main focus lah, body minus aesthetics, the health, body health, this one lah, the aspect. So how do we like actually like have what percent would you say you have achieved in your body health?
Right. Cool. So that's a great question, and there's a few parts to it. So I'll try to
Okay.
to attempt to answer it or share my experience one by one. Right. The first thing is we have to know what our goal is, and we need to be crystal clear about what your fitness goal is. Think about it this way, right? If I wanted to go and buy a pair of chuddies from a store somewhere, first of all, I need to know what brand of chuddies I want to buy. I would highly recommend Comfort Republic. Shout out Comfort Republic, not sponsored. Right?
I was confused what was chuddies, I don't.
It's Punjabi for underwear.
Yes.
Oh my god! I thought it was some food or something.
I should have probably clarified that from the start.
Yeah, probably, but it's okay. It's all good.
So, okay, let's use another example because I can't get the image of underwear out of my mind now. Just
Yeah,
say,
thanks. Same here.
so this is called implanting a thought, like
Yes.
Inception, like that. Anyways, back to the topic. So just say you wanted to buy a white T-shirt, and you know that you wanted to buy a white T-shirt from a store. So what you do is you get in your car and you're going to go and find a white T-shirt. Now you're going to be driving for a couple of days because you don't know what white T-shirt you want to buy, where you want to go to buy it. You have no idea. You just want to buy a white T-shirt. Okay, but yeah, which white T-shirt do you want to buy?
Right.
But if I know that I want to buy a white T-shirt from Aeon, and this Aeon is in Mid Valley specifically, you get in the car, you know which exact road you have to take in order to get to Aeon and buy your T-shirt. So the point that I'm trying to make here is you got to know your fitness goal very, very clearly. And all of us will have our own goals. Some of us want the aesthetic goal. Some of us just want to feel good. Some of us just want to manage our cholesterol, maybe, or our sugar levels.
Right.
We all have different goals, so to each their own.
Right.
Just because one person's goal is to get a six-pack and another person's goal is just to become a better runner, there's nothing wrong with having those goals. And you shouldn't say, oh, you shouldn't have that goal. Like, what do you know? You are not that person, so how do you know what their goals are?
Yeah,
Right?
preach.
Right? So
Yeah.
the most important thing for anybody who wants to start a fitness journey or is going through a yo-yo phase is you got to be very clear with what your goal is. When your teachers taught you in college to smart objectives, they were not wasting your time. There is some power to being very specific, being able to measure your goals, and timeliness and all that stuff, right? There is
Right.
power to it. So
Right.
that's the first step which I'll recommend people to start at. Know what your fitness goal is.
Correct. Yeah, I think once you have your mindset ready, I think that's where you can start going. Of course, the journey of doing it, executing it, it's not the most easiest thing. I mean, when it comes to me, working out, okay, maybe I don't mind staying active and whatnot, but the diet, how do you make sure you don't eat carbs or you don't eat a certain mama food ke apa, like how do you stay...
Sorry. Did you just say mama food?
I mean, mama food, as in it's not like calorie counted or something. I do not know. Am I offending you right now? Because I will offend you.
It's very precise. I'm just gonna
Like
say
oily food is what I was trying to say. Like Malaysian food, on a whole, Malaysian food on a whole, it's not deemed healthy, right? That's why in Southeast Asia, Malaysia is one of the obese country.
Yes.
So, you know, when it comes to a diet regime, especially when it comes to what you want to achieve, how did you manage to tahan, in a sense, the first week round when you started your new diet? How was the experience like? Was it difficult for you, Raj?
I do agree with you. Malaysia is a very diet averse country. You know, we are
Yes.
encouraged to enjoy ourselves very much when it comes to food. So
Yes.
the challenge is there. And controlling my food was a very, very big obstacle that I had to overcome.
Yeah.
It was the single-handedly the largest reason why I didn't see any results in all my past attempts at getting into shape. And this time around, the one thing that I've learned is that if you do not enjoy doing something, you're not going to continue doing it. That is the truth. If you are in a negative state of mind, you are not going to sustain whatever it is that you are doing. Then I did a bit of self-reflection and I noticed that every single attempt I've had in the past to get into better shape, there was always a very negative state of mind. I was feeling negative about my workouts, I was feeling negative about my relationship with food. So the question that I asked myself was, how can I create a positive relationship with my food intake? Okay?
Okay.
So, and Riz, my trainer, also noticed this. He knows that if you're not in a positive state of mind, you're going to have issues with compliance.
Yeah.
So
Right.
how do we get our clients to be compliant? So the first thing that he did was, in the first week, he made sure that he didn't start us off on a calorie deficit immediately. For those of y'all tuning in that don't know what a calorie deficit is, basically our body needs a certain level of calories in order to maintain itself.
Yep.
And we know when we eat food, we get calories.
Okay.
And these calories are expended as energy to help us in doing our daily business, right? And
Yeah.
the moment you have too much of calorie intake, you put on weight. The moment you reduce your calorie intake below the maintenance level, you start to lose weight. So
see.
what Riz did was, he knew that a lot of us were having the time of our lives eating whatever we wanted. So he didn't put us at a very steep calorie deficit. He left us at maintenance level. So you
Right.
can still enjoy eating the food that we want for the first week. But what that did was, it developed a sense of mindfulness within us, because we were asked to track whatever it is that we were eating. So
Okay.
if I was eating chicken rice for breakfast, I was eating nasi lemak for lunch, and I was eating chapati and dal for dinner, it's okay. The first week you eat it, but every time you eat, you track. So I got to put in how much of protein is there in this, how much of carbs, how much of
Right.
fiber, how much of fat. And what that does is that it creates an awareness of what you're putting in your body. Okay? So that's step number one. Now, he also gives us weekly goals to follow, so that
Okay.
we can compare what we are putting in our body in comparison to the goals that he has set for us.
I see.
Okay.
So what happens is, at least for my style of motivation, I'm driven by achieving goals.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
when I look at my Excel sheet and I see that what I'm putting in my body is not aligned with the goals that he has set for me in terms of my nutrition, I get a bit panas. And I'm like, okay, Raj, you can do better. What can you do with your meals in order to hit these goals?
Right.
Right? Because in the past, there wasn't any attempt to track my food. There wasn't any attempt to see how much of carbs I should be eating, how much of protein I should be eating. Now it's a crystal clear plan. There's clarity.
Yeah.
And I know that achieving these goals is something that drives me forward. So the motivation was effortless. Of course, there were a few other things that also came into account, right? I don't know how to cook. The past 5 weeks, I have no idea how to cook. It's a skill that I only started learning in the past 5 weeks. And
Yeah.
because I find a sense of joy in cooking and prepping my meals, my relationship with food has improved. So it has become a lot better for me to stay to my nutrition. I'm not 100% compliant. Some days I go off track, but you have to congratulate yourself for the days that you do follow your diet. Don't tell yourself like, oh, I follow my diets for my diet for 6 days, and then one day I fail. Oh, I'm a failure. I suck. I should just give up. If you're
Right,
stuck in
right.
that loop, it's going to be tough to have a good fitness routine, lah.
But it's like very how to say, you feel so much more love that's put into the meal that you're prepping with your own hands and you're cooking it, and you feel
Correct.
like, you know what, this is another skill that I'm learning from just this whole part of journey that you're going into.
Definitely.
So
And it's
yeah.
very good to impress the bar atas chicks also.
Oh my god, isn't bar atas closed now? Is it?
I don't know, like I've left the scene for a very long
I
time.
also left that
Scene,
scene
ah.
for quite some time.
I'm out of the industry, bro.
Out of the industry. Chick magnet industry lah.
Industry.
So you were saying something about rewarding yourself, right? Like when you achieve a certain goal, you reward yourself. But a lot of like from me, how I failed in dieting is like I would do that. I would like go like few months without like junk
Mama
food
food.
or anything, mama food. I eat at home also. It's mama food. My mom is mama, so so when my mistake usually is when I do the rewarding part lah. I reward myself too much. I get too excited and the reward goes on for like a year. Recently my reward went for 4 years lah when I was in university. So how do we like, when do we know when to like stop, and what kind of portions would you suggest for somebody who's having like a cheat day, just like one day in a month or something, or a week? How would you suggest the cheat day diet? What would you
Sure.
suggest?
So, first of all, you didn't fail, Achap.
Yes.
Alright? I don't think you fail. You receive feedback on what works for you and what is not so effective for you.
Yes.
Right? That's number one. I believe that there's no such thing as failure, there's only feedback in everything that we do in life. The only time we truly fail is when we stop doing something completely. Right? Number two is, let me try to recall your second question in terms of rewarding myself.
Yes.
The mindset that I have with fitness is that it's a it's a lifetime thing. It's something I do for perpetuity. So just because I hit a certain goal, it doesn't mean that I'll let myself be loose for the rest of my life, and I won't take care of my fitness anymore. It's something that I intend to do for the rest of my life. So when it comes to rewarding myself or treating myself, I try to stay away from these things called cheat days,
Okay.
because I know that at this stage of my training, a cheat day is not something that's going to help me achieve my goal.
Yeah.
I reward myself in other ways. Maybe I buy something that I wanted from Lazada or Shopee, a new pair of earphones perhaps. That's the last thing that I bought to reward myself, right? Because I was doing
And
my
what
daily
happened to
walks.
that?
We get show them the boys. Show them the boys.
These are the boys outside now. This is another pair, but so like
Nice.
it's funny, right? I'm not using my new earphones. So yeah, I reward myself in my fitness. I reward myself with things that will make my fitness process more enjoyable. So
Right.
like for example, I was going for my morning walks and I was wearing this pair of like AirPods, the wired. It's not even called AirPods. It's like what? Apple earphones. It's such a
Yeah, earphones.
the wired one, right?
wired one,
So and wearing the wired one, putting the phone in my pocket, strolling macam ni, power walk early in the morning, right? And then the wire was getting all over the place, so uncomfortable. Sometimes when I get overcome by energy, I'll start running, but then macam tak cool lah,
Yeah.
the wire getting in the way. So I told myself, okay, if I hit my 10,000 steps for one whole week, I'm going to get myself a new pair of earphones. So
Okay.
that's how I reward myself.
Right.
I hit a fitness goal, I buy something that makes the fitness process more enjoyable,
Okay.
right?
I see.
But in terms of cheat meals, unless Riz suggests that, okay, you need to have a cheat meal because it's going to reset your metabolism or apa benda, then okay, if he is giving me that recommendation, then I will do it. Otherwise, I won't pandai say like, okay, I'm going to have my own cheat meal because then I'm just letting my mind take over me. What's the rationale? What's the reason behind the cheat meal? Is it something that my trainer has recommended,
Correct.
or is it because in a moment of weakness I did it?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a moment of weakness. It happens to all of us. It happens to the best of us. It happened to me today. Today for lunch I ate nasi lemak. I admit, right?
Yeah, I admit you're the best of us.
Yeah,
also
it
admit
is.
you.
And yeah, you've had a 4-year streak, so you will know, right? And
4
then
year,
back,
4 year cheat meal.
But me, dude, in university I had a 4-year cheat meal also, very, very expensive 4-year cheat meal. I think I contributed to like 50% of Grab food revenue in the past 4 years. But it's fine, you get hit in a tough spot. There's no such thing as failure, only feedback. You try to understand why that happened, and then you use it to guide your decisions in the future.
I see.
I think it's very good mindset that you're getting into, where I think for you mainly to work out is to achieve a healthier lifestyle. The stamina that you build after a few days of like doing that 10K steps and whatnot. You start feeling wow, so good and all that. But for me, when it comes to working out, yes, I do try to stay active when I can. But for me, the defining moment to actually really just start being active was when I was a younger, 10 years ago, I think. I was very young, I was like skinny, like kurus kering, really kurus kering. And people think because you're skinny or because you're so thin that nothing's going to happen to you. Like you won't have any health matters that's going to come up to you. And so one day, this was during SPM, after SPM kind of timing, where you're just chilling, lepa, you just eat whatever the hell you want before you actually move on to college, right? So then that happened. So what happened was I was skinny, and then I'm the kind of person where I don't really drink much carbonated drinks or eat carbs and whatnot. I mean, soda, yes, because soda is life.
Alcohol
right?
ni lah.
So,
Alcohol ni lah.
don't lah. That time I'm underage. Okay,
This
please,
a bar atas chick, this one.
This the batas cheap.
Not gonna deny, no, accept any fact. So one day there was like a big pus all over like my legs, my thigh, my back. So I'm like, what is going on with me? It's very disgusting, the pus just became very big. It comes into like a pimple form, and then when you press it, so much of white pus comes out. So I was like, you know what, I need to go and check with the doctor. Went to the doctor.
Why are you smiling, bro?
So the image was very big in your mind, Can just imagine.
Like the underwear image, right? Yeah.
She was telling all that white pus. I was like, hey, this fella is like.
Yeah, so because it was so like heinous as you looked at it, I went to the doctor, and the doctor actually kind of said that I was pre-diabetic, and I was like, what? Yo, what? Are you serious?
What?
Because they checked like my sugar level, glucose level. Apparently after 2 hours it should be able to digest, and then it will go back to like the normal rate, which is 5 or 5.5. That's the normal rating. So 10 will be the highest, 1 will be the lowest. So I think at the time I got about 8 or a 9, and I was like, what is going on? So the doctor pretty much suggested that I need to like stay active. So I think after that, of course, I a bit sakit lah. I'm like, shit, am I gonna die? But obviously we all know diabetes can be cured, through active or through, of course, the worst case scenario with the insulin. So for me, of course, ever since from then I started getting active and the health and the mind. But like coming back to what you said, Raj, about you always set a goal where, okay, if this 1 week I can complete this, I'm gonna get myself something. So I think like that applies to me here now, not just working out, okay? Because working out, I don't know, a long time I haven't jogged, I'm like so lazy. But I feel like what you said really resonated so much, in a sense where working out doesn't have to mean like you're just doing it to lose weight. If you're doing it to do that, great, good for you. But it's also a part of a healthier mind and also a healthier body. What do you say, Ashraf? Like, have you ever had that kind of same thinking as what Raj did?
Yeah, I used to be like very fitness driven. I used to work out every day. Like, if I recorded my workout sessions last time, I'd be more famous than Raj now. So
Ouch.
but no lah.
For all the right reasons, bro.
For all the right reasons lah, bro. Of course lah. No, what I'm saying is like I used to be like very fitness driven, and like that's when I got the information and all that. But then like when I entered university, Raj knows, I dropped out from university. So those 4 years I was there, like I'll be honest, I was depressed. But that wasn't, I still played sports. I played basketball for the university and all that. I still kept myself active, but then my eating habits were crazy because I started joining, like I said, I was in event management. So event management, you have to stay up. The earliest you can sleep is at least 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. That's the earliest you can sleep. So like when that took a toll on my health lah. So McD lah, where else you would go 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning? McD.
Shout out McD breakfast.
McD breakfast.
McD.
Yes. I would wait like till 4 to get like hot cakes and like McMuffin or something. McD sponsors. So one day. So like that thing really took a toll for me. And then until I like Raj said lah, you have to make your mind clear. You have to like whatever there's negativity in your head and everything. So like the Malay saying lah, minda badan sehat minda cerdas, right? So it's vice versa. So like in order to keep your body healthy and maintaining that, you have to have a healthy mind also. So like so that's what I'm striving towards. And now I've also like after looking at Raj's story every day, now I've also started my own fitness kind of journey-ish kind of things. So like indirectly like directly also, like I've seen you in person, and you've inspired me lah, bro.
That's good, bro. I'm so happy to hear that, bro.
Thanks.
I'm so happy to hear that.
So
yeah, but like what Ashraf was saying about having a healthy mind, yes, that is very easy to achieve once we already know. But there's also a lot of voices outside of people, shaming you, like, hey bro, you put on weight, all this small unnecessary
shaming.
things that we don't need to know. But have you ever experienced that, Raj? And does that ever deter your motivation when it comes to your workout journey?
100%, right? Many times throughout my life, I've got people coming up to me and saying, "Ayo boy, you are so skinny like a stick already, right?" This uncle will come and tell me. I mean, of course lah, he is okay. We won't get into how he looks like, but he's coming and telling me this, right? And then this other auntie will come and say, "Ayo, you are so dark. What happened to you lah? You're so dark." She'll come and say all this kind of things. Many times people will. It's always the relatives lah, it's like 99% of the time it's relatives. You put on so much of weight, everything is okay. All these kind of things they will say, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes I even have friends coming up to me and saying stuff like, "Oh dude, you say you want to work out, 3 weeks you've been working out, suddenly 4th week you stop, or you never live up to your words." All this kind of things people will come and say, right?
Correct.
Now, the one thing that I've learned, which completely changed how I viewed these comments, was understanding this term. Alright? So this term is a life-changing term. It's called perception is projection. What does it mean? Perception is projection means that whatever we have going on in our mind, we will project it upon everyone else that we see in this world. Okay? Whatever we have in our mind, we automatically project it to whoever else we see in the world. So, when people come up to you and start shaming you about your body, saying, "Oh, you're very skinny, you are very plus size, or you only say you want to work out for 3 weeks, you say you want to work out forever, but then you only do 3 weeks and you stop," all these kind of things, it's because they are projecting their own thoughts about themselves upon you.
Correct.
Right?
Very, very true. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if they are having their internal obstacle and you're projecting it upon you, you have to take responsibility for yourself and tell yourself, "I am not going to listen to what these people have to say." Because whatever they are saying is their internal struggle, not mine.
Yep.
Correct.
Right?
And it's the same thing for me also, like I've always been like, skinny shame. I don't know if that's a term, but speaking about how people say, "Oh, you're skinny lah, this lah, everything," but when I want to go and work out, there'll be people telling me like, friends or whoever it is, "Hey, why you want to work out? You're so thin already, for what? Leave it lah," But for me, it's like, I want to be healthy. If you do not want to join me in my healthy way, then I'm sorry, then then that's on you, you know. So it's very true, like what you said about we shouldn't let them judge as to how our journey should be, and basically not making us demotivated to even continue to go on with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, it's very simple, right? If they have not achieved what it is that you want to achieve, should you even be listening to them in the first place?
Yeah.
Correct.
It's something to think about.
That's strong, bro.
Correct.
That's some cool shit, bro.
Put it on a t-shirt, man.
Put it on a t-shirt, bro. But yeah, that's actually very strong, you know. Like when
Yeah.
people give you negative thoughts, like the best trait to have is like a filter. That's the best thing, like especially like if for people in our line of work, like we don't do the generic shit, you know. We don't go to the office and all, like
Yeah.
so like especially in our line of work, or in fitness as well, like people like for you, Raj, people see your fitness journey, and not only your relatives but the whole social media scene lah. So yeah, as like you said, it's important to have that filter the negativity as it comes, you know. So
Right.
like how, like for instance lah, when you started, confirm you took some negativity into yourself, like you actually you know, like listen to them and then started, like how did that actually affect you, and how did you like get out of that, your personal experience lah? How did you get out of that and build that filter for yourself?
That's a really good question. I'm trying to remember consciously a moment where I was faced with negativity from people and it affected me, but I can't seem to remember a specific instance, right? Because I've noticed that since I was very young, and maybe this was because of the way I was raised, or the teachers that guided me in kindergarten and primary school when I was at a very young age, you know, at between the ages of 0 to 7 years old, our mind is very imprintable, right?
Yes.
Whatever that,
Very
it's very
curious as
impressionable,
well.
Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
correct.
right? So whatever that happens between that age of 0 to 7 years old, it sticks with us, and then it takes a lot of effort to unwind it if you want to do
Yeah,
down the
true.
road. So I was very lucky that my teachers at a young age imprinted a lot of self-confidence upon me. There was a lot of confidence, there was a lot of self-awareness. So I knew what I was capable of, and it was quite challenging for people to throw me off this path. I do remember one situation though, when I was running track and field back in secondary school. And I only started playing sports when I was 15. Much later than I wanted to. As a child, my parents never got me to play sports for my own safety. They were saying stuff like, oh, you know, you'll get hurt, you'll get injured and all that stuff. So I never played sports. I wasn't an athletic
Right.
person. Only when I was 15 years old I started playing volleyball.
Nice.
And naturally, if you haven't played sports in your whole life, your coordination is not good. You suck,
Right.
right? You become an absolute fool on the court. And it was quite tough, because here there are people who have been playing sports for so many years. They gravitate to the sport very naturally and they're good at it, but I wasn't very good. So from the ages of 15 to 17, I was trying out a bunch of different sports. I was playing volleyball, I was playing football during PE, then I wanted to try ultimate frisbee, and I wanted to run track. And eventually in Form 5, I joined the school's cross-country team.
Wow. Nice.
Right? So
Yeah.
cross country, there were two main events every year. The first was this 8-kilometer run, which was done in a trail. So you go into a jungle and then you lari for 8 km until you get to the finish line. And then the other one is a 5-kilometer run on the track, right? So my 5-kilometer timing when I first joined the track and field team was something like 35 minutes. It was a very, very slow pace for an athlete. 35 minutes for 5 km, it's not a pace that will get you a good standing. But I told myself, you know what? It's my last year of secondary school. I've never ran track in my life before. I'm going to train hard, and I'm going to go and win something in either one of these events.
Right.
So I kept on going for training. We were training 5 times a week. I was doing something like maybe 80 to 90 kilometers mileage a week. So I was running 80 to 90 km within a week just to train to become a better runner. And in one of my training sessions leading up to these two competitions, I finished a training session in the field, and the head coach came to me. And the head coach just stood next to me, and he's a very stern guy. He's very strict, he's very disciplined, doesn't play a fool.
Right.
He's a very, very sharp man.
Right.
Then he looked at me and he said, "You know, Raj, you cannot run." He told me that. You know? Say, "You know, Raj, you cannot run." And I looked at him, and I felt a bit frustrated because he was the head coach. And everybody naturally wants to get his attention, wants to get his approval. And
Right.
I would be lying if I said that I didn't want that, because he's it's like a father figure that we look up to. Track and field head coach is a teacher, and we want to get a seal of approval for him. And here he is coming to me saying that, "Oh, you cannot run." Nice, I almost killed myself running on the track how many times, and then you say I cannot run.
And now here you are.
And I told him very clearly, I remember, I was sitting down taking off my running shoes, and I said, "You may be right, sir, but we all have to start somewhere."
Oh my god, at a young
At
age.
that age,
At 17.
Raj Mahal.
That this
Quite
is a
speedy,
class.
now I think about it.
That's why he's the embodiment of love in Malaysia, okay? He
Someone
says it
should
like it is.
someone should make a movie of this.
Right? So what happened after that was, after I said that, then I walked back like swagger back to the car, it's like,
Yeah,
it's not that right.
Sunglasses.
We're gonna start somewhere. Sunglasses, we're gonna start somewhere. So went for the competitions. Cross country, I got 9th place, which was
Wow,
one position away from representing the district. So super close. Okay, super close. Got
Wow.
9th place. If I was in 8th place, I would have become the runner for district. Tapa. Timing was great. Improvement was fantastic. I got 9th place out of 70 something people. So that was a very, very good
Wow.
standing. Right?
We stopped
And
that,
then
right?
for the 5 kilometer track event, I got 4th place. And how it works in the track and field indoor is that first place you get X number of points. I think first place you get 5 points. Second place you get 3 points. Third place you get 2 points. And then fourth place you get 1 point for your school. So I got 4th place and I contributed 1 point, just one measly point to the school. And after I was done with the event, my head coach came up to me and said, "Good job, Raj." That same coach that said I couldn't run, he came up to me
Nice.
and said, "Good job." And that was the closure. I think that was the understanding came to me then that, hey, if you want to do something, you got to have a very clear plan. Set your mind on it. Just because someone says that you can't do it, is that their projection, or is it what you choose to accept about yourself?
True.
Yeah, that's very powerful. That you actually prove them wrong.
Yes.
Which is essentially what I think it's very powerful how you really believe yourself at a very young age, and you tell it like it is to them. But of course, when you go into adulthood, it's a little bit different because a lot of things comes into the picture, and we just feel like so scrabbled. Our life is just, oh my god, this la, that la. It's all very negative. But what would you say is a good point for people to actually really just start staying, motivated, not just in a workout aspect, but in every aspect in what they want to do. Because I think you mentioned a lot of things about not just in workout, but there's also so many other aspects that you have said that when you put your mind to it, you're gonna get there. But of course, like you said, it's easier said than done, and execution is hard. But let's say I want to be in a runway show next year. What would you say would be something that I can start with when it comes to motivating myself to get to that dream of mine?
Okay, I will just make it simple and straightforward, right?
Yeah.
The first thing we have to realize is that we have, all of us, every single person on this earth has all the resources they need to get the results that they want.
Okay.
That is the truth. Every single
Right.
one of us. If you want to be a runway model, if I wanted to get a body like Chris Hemsworth, if Achap wanted to get a body like Hugh Jackman, we all can get that.
Yeah.
So we have to realize this, that we all have access to the resources that we need to get the results that we want. Now,
Okay.
the next question is, what are the results that you're looking for?
Correct.
And the reason why people don't get the results that they're looking for is because they don't even know what it is that they want. Right?
Yeah.
So find clarity in your goals, no matter whether it's fitness or any other thing that you want to achieve in your life. You have to know what it is that you're working towards,
Right.
and then ask yourself, what can I do to get there?
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Just doing that by itself will give you the clarity. And that's one thing which has helped me. From my experience, that gave me a lot of clarity. The second thing, which is a work in progress, is to stop sabotaging yourself.
Yes.
Right?
Oh my God,
Yes.
that is a daily thing. You
Right.
know, sometimes people will do that. Yeah.
It is challenging because we are raised with so many conditionings within our mind.
Yeah.
The whole world can support you, but if you tell yourself, I cannot do it, nothing is going to happen.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So the question now is, how can you put yourself in a state of resourcefulness? How can you put yourself in a state where you are at cause, not at effect? Meaning you will do what you need to do in order to get the results that you want. Right?
Okay.
You are result driven, not reason driven.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
Which is why, like,
that's a very good
usually, right? When I talk to people, right, I don't ask them why. I don't like to ask the question why to people. Like, oh, why are you like this? Why do you think that way? Because when you ask the question why, people give reasons. I like to
Right.
ask how questions. How do you want to get to that goal? What will
Right.
it take to get to that goal? Because when you use how questions or what questions, people think in terms of results.
Correct.
So start having that conversation with yourself. Don't ask too many why questions, because why will give you a lot of reasons. Ask how. How can I get there? How is
Okay.
it that I can prevent this negative self-talk? You know? To summarize that, you got to identify the things that are giving you pain, that are giving you discomfort, and figure out how you're going to address that.
Right. So Ashraf, how are you gonna do this?
So yeah.
Ask
So
yourself
like,
how.
so what I'm gonna do, right? So yeah,
Here it comes.
I'm gonna just do characters.
I think this one to discuss, we need to do it over MACD breakfast to just stimulate the mind a bit.
I after this I'm not gonna ever eat McD breakfast, bro. But yeah, recently I have identified my goals lah. That's why I've restarted my fitness journey again, and most probably will be starting playing basketball all over again lah. Now that they are opening all the courts and all that.
Yep.
But I learned a lot today. That's those things that I didn't know. Like I started this journey, but there are things that I learned today from Raj, from Nat also as well. So what I can conclude from this conversation today was, like, have a clear goal, have a filter, like whenever, like, even like when somebody's giving you like a compliment, like the sarcastic compliments and all that, know how to filter all those things. And the most important thing, the most important supporter of you is you. So
Yeah.
that's something I can take out from today's conversation lah, between three of us.
Correct.
So
Correct.
Nat,
Yeah.
what would you like to say, Nat?
Today's conversation is very powerful, where Raj really have mentioned a lot about just filtering out, really, who are you, who are these people to come into our lives and tell us what we have to do and what we don't have to do, when the journey that we're on is making us happy. And also, yes, aligning your mind and also with your execution of doing the workouts and all that. Of course, it's going to take time, but I think it's hard work. It's not easy. It requires a lot of effort. If you're in it to win it, then you're going to be a champion one day in the future. And I feel like from this conversation, it's going to be very motivated for all of us and also for our listeners. What do you think, Raj? Do you feel extra motivated here right now?
Of course. It's very, very nice to sit down and talk to people who are pursuing growth. It's
Yes.
it's something that's very
that's what-
important, and what you guys are doing to spread this message of growth and improving ourselves and being in this state of developing who you are. It
Right.
is a vital thing to do, because if it's really up to you whether you want to grow in your life or not. It's completely 100% the responsibility is yours. You
Right.
just know that commonly people who seek to improve themselves have better quality lives. So the question is, if you want a better quality life, what are you going to do about it? So I think this podcast is fantastic. The fact that you're bringing this message to people, very
Oh my
very good job
God.
to the both of y'all.
Oh my god, thank you. So sweet.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
I just want to add one more thing in regards to fitness, as my final
sure.
thought. Make your fitness routine fun, right? Make it fun,
Yes.
because it puts you in a positive state of mind. And like I mentioned, when you're in a positive state of mind, you will like doing things that you are doing, no matter what it is. So I didn't enjoy doing my 10,000 steps. So what I did was I asked myself, okay, what can I do to make it more fun? And I said, okay, let's listen to a podcast, right? So that's what I started doing. I just listened to a podcast while I go for a walk, and now it's habitual. It's so natural. If I don't do my 10,000 steps with a podcast, I don't feel like my day is right.
Correct.
You know?
Because you're
So,
kind of like
and
killing
then-
two birds with one stone, you know? Yeah.
Exactly. You know,
Yeah.
when it comes to strength training, so strength training is something I'm supposed to do 5 times a week. That's the goal that has been set for me by my trainer. But I'm only doing it like once or twice a week. So now I'm asking myself, what can I do to make my strength training process more fun, so that I'm more compliant with it? So, you know,
Correct.
if you want to start on a fitness journey, ask yourself, what can I do to make it fun?
Yes, that's very true. Working out, a lot of people associate it as being like, ayo, tired lah, this lah, it's not good, negative. But to make it fun, it's kind of like similar as to having a job that you really love, that it just kind of becomes a hobby for you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's the passion and the driven goal that you have. And also to conclude, so this is the end of our episode 2. Thank you so much to Raj Mahal for really giving us, also giving yourself as well, motivation to also inspire all of us, and I hope the listeners are also inspired. Raj, do you want to do the closing with us? Basically, you just have to say, motivated lah. Shall we do that together?
Okay, Jom, let's do it.
Alright, guys, remember to stay.
Hey, motivated
Motivated.
lah.
Hey, thank